Welcome to the Zencast. My name is Dale Pickles. I'm the host of the Zencast and also the managing director of B Squared. If you are a new listener, then welcome to the Zencast. This is a special episode where we're raising the profile of one of the events in the UK focusing on special educational needs and disability. And once again, we are a media partner for the Autism and ADHD shows that are taking place in June and July. And they're going to be in London, Birmingham, and for the first time this year, Liverpool. Moved from Manchester. In this bonus episode, we're discussing what the show is about and why you should go. The Zencast is created and produced by us here at B Square, and we have a range of products to help schools. We have a range of assessment software. We have our evidence for learning system. We have this podcast. We have our online CPD and more. Visit the B Square website or click on the meeting link in the show notes to book a meeting with me to take you through our assessment software. Now, let's get on with this special episode. My guests in this episode are Geoff and Nargis, the founders of Parkview Events and the driving force behind the Autism and ADHD Shows, the UK's leading national event dedicated to autism and ADHD. Motivated by personal experience after their son was diagnosed with autism at the age of 4, they recognise a significant gap in accessible information and support for families navigating the condition, both conditions now because it's the Autism and ADHD Shows, which inspired them to launch the Autism Show in 2011, aimed to connect parents, carers, professionals and autistic individuals with vital resources serving the community. And last year, in 2025, it became the Autism and ADHD Shows. Welcome, Nargis and Geoff.
Hello.
Hello, Dale.
Hello, Dale. Yes.
You're not at all nervous, are you?
No. We're hoping to do better than last year.
Yeah.
Correct dates. We'll get the correct dates this year. So we've the show. I love the show. We've been coming to the show for a really long time. It's a great source of Kit Kats and other things for me. And last year was the first time you shifted from the Autism Show to the Autism and ADHD Show. So let's start with that. How did that go?
Well, we were finding that more and more people were being diagnosed with both conditions. It's not something that we'd come across when our son was diagnosed when he was 4. I hadn't really heard of that at all. But I think post-COVID, we were finding that more and more people were receiving this autism and ADHD diagnosis. And we wanted to address that. We wanted to give information out to people about both conditions. I think you surveyed, didn't you, our visitors as well? And that came up as the second most topic, as the topic they were most interested in after autism. And yeah, it was just a natural thing to do. It was a sensible thing to do.
Yes, I mean, increasingly more and more people were saying they were interested in ADHD alongside autism. It was always the most important topic for people after autism, but the percentage was going up and up and up to the point where we felt it was a sensible thing to add ADHD alongside.
Huge overlap. It was, yeah.
And I think it was a previous show. I think it might have been 2022. I think I was at the show and I think there was somebody talking about co-occurrence, that you can have autism and ADHD. And that was one of the things that I sat there and went, because at that point I wasn't diagnosed. I didn't fit into the autism camp and I didn't fit into the ADHD camp. I was somewhere else. And when he said you could have both, and I'm going, well, that makes sense because I got a bit of that and a bit of that. And it was the following year was when I got diagnosed. So that was the start of, I think I'm going to get a diagnosis. It came from a talk at one of your shows, I think it was 2022, where somebody was talking about this co-occurrence. And I sort of went, that makes sense. And I think February the following year, I got my diagnosis of autism and ADHD.
And how did you feel when you got that diagnosis?
The initial thing was it wasn't my fault. That was the big thing I felt. Is looking back over lots of things that had happened in my life that I was blamed for, lack of effort, lack of attention, not doing my homework, all those executive function skills that I was struggled with, various other bits on the social and emotional side. That was my fault. I kind of looked back and went, well, it wasn't.
And it makes sense, starts to make sense. And I think over the years as well, we've found that more and more people, more and more adults are receiving diagnoses. And, often, it's a relief, isn't it? You can better understand it. I mean, obviously other people will feel differently about it, but we've noticed that as time's gone on with the shows, when we first started, it was, very young children, children on the cusp of a diagnosis or just received a diagnosis, around the age of 4. Whereas now we're having conversations with people in their 70s saying, I've just been diagnosed. And the awareness within that sort of time span, it's huge now. When our son was first diagnosed, we had heard of the word autism, didn't really know what it meant. Whereas now it's mainstream, isn't it? People are aware and they can recognise traits within themselves and are curious and want to find out more.
The thing that makes the show unique, which I think you would probably agree with, is that it's a meeting place for the whole community. So what I mean by that is, yes, those people that are autistic adults, autistic children come as well, particularly on the Saturday with their families, people with ADHD and other issues, other disabilities, as well as parents, carers, professionals from obviously education very much, NHS and local authorities, everyone that lives and works with those conditions, and probably almost definitely others, are all together in one place at one time. And there's an empathy that you don't get anywhere else, but an understanding. But on top of that, there's so much information. I mean, I worked out the other day, we've got, over the 2 days, we've got over 100 CPD-accredited learning hours in different formats.
Wow, that's a lot.
That can be accessed over that time. There's an emphasis on, because there's so much, the visitors can choose this or they can choose that. It can either be, say, a talk from an autistic adult, an ADHD adult, or where they both co-occur. It could be with a specialist talking about practical, hands-on tips, strategies that can help on a day-to-day basis in education and at home. It could be a leading professional in the Autism Matters Theatre and or the ADHD Matters Theatre. It could be one of the various workshops we've got going on. It could be in the one-to-one professional consultation area that we have, the one-to-one clinics, where you can have a very sort of half hour with a specialist, a therapist, say, or practitioner to get that personalised help and support. There's so much information. And sometimes you can hear something that you weren't expecting. And then, like you said, you pick something up and it can have an effect. And that can take you down a path that you weren't necessarily expecting. But the whole idea is we're just trying to offer as much help and support every year that we can for the whole community, as I described it. And I think there's nothing quite like it across the country. There's other events where visitors have to pay to access lots of different parts of the show for lots of different theatre sessions, seminars. For us, once you get in, it's all free of charge and free to access. So for professionals, it's £35 to access for a whole day, everything that's on offer. For parents, carers, it's £23. Children under 16 enter free of charge. And
it's amazing value for money.
If we do say so ourselves.
Yeah, it really is.
But these things make us a little bit different. And that's why we keep doing it. And we are excited about doing it because we're trying to help people like us now, but perhaps even more importantly, people like us, 15 years ago, 15 years younger than we are.
The landscape has changed so much now. I mean, people do not know what the future holds in terms of will they be able to secure the right provision for their child. And so coming to the show, you can speak to IPSI, to SOS, SEN.
DWP, for instance, are offering advice on benefits.
Yeah.
So legal advice, obviously, from those organisations.
Yeah, legal advice, what possibly what the white paper may mean for parents. And teachers, importantly teachers as well, because they need to know what those changes mean for them and what expectations will be placed on them. We want to support people, we want to support parents, but we want to support teachers as well, to do the best they can. Everybody just wants to do the best they can.
It's very exciting working with other organisations like those, Autism West Midlands for the Birmingham show. What else? Exhibitors, for instance, like Twinkle, who are new into the show, I think, this year.
Yeah, they are, yeah. They offer lots of free resources. Yeah,
learning
so it's great
tools,
to have them.
visual aids.
Yeah.
all sorts of technology in the classroom, all sorts of help, sensory products.
Yeah, we've got creative activity with their Senso Cube. It's great to come to the show, and particularly younger visitors really enjoy that with their sensory interaction. And
It's like a portable, flexible sensory space, isn't it? Which I think is increasingly popular within schools, and they want to find out about things like that.
Yeah, it's just a nice activity, isn't it?
Now, it's interesting. You started off talking at the show. There's 100 hours of CPD, and one of the things we haven't mentioned is there's actually 3 shows.
Yes.
So there is a London and a Birmingham and a Change.
Yes. Well, let's talk about that. So the London show, to get the first 2 out of the way, the London show is on the 19th to the 20th of June at the Business Design Centre in Islington, London. A week later, on the 26th and 27th of June, we're at the NEC Birmingham. And then a week after that, the 3rd to the 4th of July, we're at a new venue at the Exhibition Centre, Liverpool. So as you touched on, for 13 years, we've held the show in Manchester. And just as the London show has moved from Excel to the Business Design Centre over the last year or so, 15 years in total, 13 years is a significant amount of time. So there was the opportunity to move the show a little bit to the west, to make the event accessible to maybe some people in the very northwest who haven't, and North Wales, Central Wales, that haven't maybe had the opportunity to get over to Manchester. And we'd heard about the exhibition centre for years now and how good it was, and we went to see it for ourselves, and it's fantastic. It's on the water.
They made us feel very welcome. We're excited to
It's
go
a lovely
up there.
site, and the space fits the show nicely. It's not just a big cavernous space. We're quite neatly fitting into that. So I think the overall dynamics and the feel of it will work well for our visitors. So we thought we'd move it across there. So we're looking forward to it. Again, we've been doing this for quite a long time. So any sort of development that we do off the basis of what we think is a better experience for our visitors is exciting for us. So we're looking forward to it.
And for our son, there is a Nando's still nearby. So
Yeah,
that's very
it's
important.
Yes. They've worked out where it is. Yeah.
And it's 3 days. There's 100 hours of CPD at each show. I'm guessing a lot of talks, you have people talk at the same event, each thing. So, but it's not always that, because you said Autism West Midlands are at the Birmingham event. They probably won't be at the London event, but there'll be someone else. So some events you've got regional, I'm going to call them regional exhibitors. So it might be different schools or things like that. And you touched on the white paper, and there is, I think, a lot of knee jerks. There's a lot of negative headlines going on in the news. And I think for parents, it will be very much doom and gloom. The world is ending. And I think it's important to get to shows like this to be able to have a conversation where you get past that initial headline and actually have a conversation of what is this going to look like? What does this mean? When you're on social media and you've got 3 sentences to get your point across, it's not going to be nuanced. It's going to be quite broad and general. And being able to go to the show, and if IPSI and SOS SEN are there, you can actually have an in-depth conversation about what is happening, when is it happening, my child's in year 5, what's the impact on my child? And you'll find that actually as you get into those specific, it will give parents more reassurance.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the word, isn't it? You want people to be reassured. And if things are changing, to plan ahead and know what to expect, and then, have your plan in place. So, at this point, this will change, and then I need to do X, Y, and Z. And that's what IPSI have been great with.
We've used them.
Yeah, we've used them. I mean, we've been to tribunal twice. Looks like we're probably going to tribunal for a 3rd time with the same local authority. So, IPSI have been great to sort of just guide us in terms of what you can do legally. And I think once you have that information, even though it is a struggle, it makes life a lot easier because you have that plan in place.
I think it shows, coming to the show, just seeing everyone else who, again, are living or working with autism and or ADHD. It sounds like a cliche, but it means that you're not alone. And I think we felt that the first time we ever did the show, and every year since then, it's quite humbling to see the people coming, to look for help and support, as we did from our perspectives, but also from others, as I mentioned. And I think just to physically be there, to be surrounded with other people, gives you that sense you're not alone. You can see you're not alone. And I think there's a lot of value in that. And there's a lot of experience. And compared to other means of gaining information, as you touched on, here you have two-way conversations. You have that human aspect. Yeah. It's very much a human situation, of course, that we're dealing with here. And I think coming to a live event where you have access to lots of things, you can dip in, or you don't have to. But just to be there as well, there's a lot of positivity about that. And actually, positivity is what you were touching on. I think there's lots of negative things that happen in this in a situation where you're maybe supporting someone for autism and or ADHD, or at home or within a school environment, school setting. But you can get other ideas from other people, other suggestions, even a neurodivergent adult within Theatre 1 in the Autism and ADHD talks, talking about their experiences of school, what it felt like for them. We even have some teachers who are neurodivergent talking about their experiences as well, of both being a teacher and when they had a teacher teaching them. And I think those insights you don't get those
it's invaluable,
anywhere else. And there's no other show that has so many neurodivergent people speaking, giving of themselves, providing help. You can go over to the neurodiversity meets space. It's a big stand at the show where you can meet a lot of these speakers who are willing to answer any question and try their best to answer any question that's asked of them, whether it's from someone else who's neurodivergent, who wants to get a bit of help or support. They may have a diagnosis. They may be looking for one. They may think they have autism and or ADHD. Or it could be a professional looking for some advice, some insight as well, or to pick up on something they may have said in the Theatre 1, where they're speaking. But again, it's very much at the heart of our show. We're not a conference where you go and sit down, all the information comes to you, you see a few exhibitors and you walk out. It's not about that. Everything is intertwined and it's alive, and the people that the show is ultimately about are very much at the center of, physically and in every sense, at the center of the show. And again, that's what makes us, I think, different to anything else out there.
And one of the things which we've not touched on yet is how inclusive the events are. Because exhibitions can be really loud, really noisy, lots of visuals. And from the very beginning, you've always taken a different approach to that. You've always the lights are not on full power. You're really thinking about that that visual, the auditory. So all the talks, and you've mentioned that there's the Autism Matters Theatre, there's the ADHD, there's the loads of different stuff going on. But all of those talks are done with silent disco headphones, which means you'll sit there in the hall and it'll be just quiet. It's not silent because you're in an exhibition, and there are lots of conversations going on, but you haven't got those big booming talks going on. And you can completely forget they're going on until they're giving a round of applause at the end, and you're going, oh yeah, there's a talk going on. And it means it's a really nice, they're calm events to be at. And there's often spaces you can go and relax. And so they're really well thought out to make them really accessible.
That is important.
We do our best within the context of a big space. That, again, isn't something you find anywhere. I think, importantly, the people we work with to make the show happen as well, the individuals, the staff members that we have during the shows, we're quite careful in who we choose to work on the show. We ensure, if at all possible, and we do also work, I should say, with directly on some of the theatre content with individuals who are autistic as well and ADHD. But in terms of the staff supporting the visitors, we make sure, if at all possible, they have experience of those conditions. They are often parents. The chap who looks after our accounts, for instance, is a dad of children who used to go to our son's state school way back, and he has at least one child who's autistic. So that's important to us. We live and breathe the show. It's what we do all year round. We also do some webinars called Autism Learns outside of the exhibition time, which is always in the summer, June and July, to also provide some again, a different layer, a different way of offering information and support to our typical visitors. But everyone we work with, we really try and work with people that are sensitive and understanding of the conditions that we're working with.
And then going back to what
Which
Dale
helps.
was saying as well, we want to make this space as comfortable for people as possible. And so in terms of the noise level, I always sort of describe it as just like a general hubbub. It's just like a little sort of...
It's not Weatherspoons level. It's a lot below that.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think. I don't for the Quent,
Yeah.
unlike you, by the sounds of it, Weatherspoons.
You go to lots of events, and they are loud, and there's stuff booming out.
It's not that at
The
all.
stands are spaced out. You're not squeezed. I never feel like
You're hemmed in. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So it's generally it is really probably quiet. Not as in there's no one there, but it kind of feels like it sometimes, just because that noise level is so low.
Yeah.
But even if you do get overstimulated, there's a quiet room at each event.
Exactly. Yeah. You can go to the quiet room, but also you can come and go as you please. So if you just need to step outside of the hall, you can do that and come back easily, and you can do that as often as you like.
I was just going to say, in Liverpool, I think there's the advantage of having the outside space.
That's what I was going to say.
Having the water there, it's very calming. It's quite choppy, or at least
when
it was when we were
went,
there.
yeah.
But I think that's a nice thing as well to have that.
And I think that's one of the things, the move to from XL to Islington. XL is a big place.
Yeah. It's cavernous,
It's cavernous, and the hall's giant. And then when you walk out, that foyer, that big corridor is really big and reflective. So it's quite hard to find a quiet space. But the Islington it's a carpeted location. There's always a quiet corner you can find there, which is nice.
And because it's got the mezzanine level as well, so you can just you can stay within the building, and there's lots of natural light because it's got a sort of a glass roof. You can go up to the mezzanine level and you can just sit on the floor and find yourself a little corner, and there's plenty of little corners, and nobody's going to bat an eyelid. That's absolutely okay to do that.
And as Dale says, there could be numerous other events at XL at the same time, whereas at the BDC, because of the size of the space, there aren't lots of other events there, and I think that helps.
Yeah, that makes a difference, doesn't it?
And the staff are really good. The staff at the BDC are trained and understanding in terms of supporting visitors with autism, ADHD, and other conditions, and that makes it easier for us when the venue staff are on the ball as well.
And obviously we are there as B Squared this year. We're normally there as the Sencast.
Yes.
We're the same people. B Squared, Sencast, same people. So they're, because of the white paper, because of the Ofsted inspection framework for us, I think it's a really big year in terms of what we do as B Squared, in terms of assessment, tracking, progress for every child. We've got our autism profiling tool. We're going to have our new executive function framework out. So when the government announced that was a really big, that's good time. And we've literally spent the last year developing a framework around executive function.
I think that's why it's so important for teachers to come out to the show, to speak to exhibitors like you, to see that how you can make their lives a lot easier.
Yeah, and again, I've already seen on social media people going, can someone recommend an executive function? You can see that level of understanding around executive function isn't there. So again, there is, to me, a need of going to events like this to build that understanding. You've got new things coming in. I need to find out about it. Where can you go? And I think shows are always those bits where you can have that conversation. You can have that, I don't know what this is, and have that conversation with someone who can kind of help boost your knowledge.
And even if you're not coming with loads of questions, just by talking to people, you think, I didn't realise, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And you can only do that face to face.
Yeah.
You won't get that online, or you need to physically come.
And one of the things I like is, I think for a number of years, it's the first event we do in the year, kind of, we haven't done much. And so and what I love when we go there as a Sencast, and I'm there as a Sencast as well, is I get to meet some of our listeners.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
And you kind of, in my head, our listeners are people who work in schools, it's parents, it's professionals who work with school. I know we've got driving instructors and so on. But what I really liked is I had a couple of teenagers come up to us at the show and go, I listened to the podcast. I'm sort of going, Why?
It's true. I've been there, but some of these things happen. Yeah.
And it's not in a horrible way. It's not
This is
going,
actually true, is it? Yeah, you can confirm this. Yeah.
but it was somebody going, I was really stressed about exams, and the stuff your episodes on anxiety really helped.
Oh, that's
and I was
nice.
like,
That's lovely.
and then Dr. Susie Nye, because she works in the college, and she talks about getting ready for exams and how it's techniques and revision, and it's like, so, and again, it's that sort of thing. I never realised that actually there were youngsters listening to the podcast.
You've got a fan base, Dale.
Quite a few. It's really strange. I still don't. We just sit here like we are right now, 3 people having a chat in a room. It just happens recorded and gets listened by lots and lots of people.
It sounds like for this year's shows, we're going to have to lay on some extra security for Dale.
Yeah.
Our typical security guard, she works well.
Right. Yes.
But I really do like the event. Sadly, I won't be at the Liverpool, so I'll be at the London and the Birmingham.
That is a shame. We'll miss you.
And I think I'm booked in to do a talk in the exhibitor theatres. I've looked. I wasn't sure. I literally just checked on your website, and I am. So I'll be doing some talks. I think I'm going to change it around back to executive function, so we can talk about that at the shows. But my colleague John will be at the Manchester or the Liverpool show, the Liverpool show, not Manchester.
Liverpool.
Do not turn up to Manchester. The Liverpool show, so he will be there representing B Squared and
Brilliant.
the Sendcast.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So if you've not been to the show, as Geoff said, it is a paid event, so you do pay to get in, but it is you get everything for that one fee. And there's a professional charge, and there's parents, and as Geoff said, those under 16 get here for free. And it is a really welcoming event, and it's a place where you can feel relaxed. As a parent, you do not have to worry what your child's doing. No one is going to worry. No one's going to react. No one's going to judge. It's a really welcoming, safe place. And it is, you see kids running off, going back to that stall they love.
Yes.
And then you see the parent just knowing exactly where they've gone, casually walking behind them, going, they've gone back to that stand again. It's a really nice, happy place to be.
If I can just say, everything we've spoken about is available on the website.
Yes.
Which is Autism ADHD Show.co.uk.
And as always, the links to the shows, and it's one website. You'll find when you go to the website, you choose which show you want to go to.
Which location,
Which location, and it's got a list of all the exhibitors, the talks that are on. All of it is there. There's also lots of information around how do I get there, what is it there, how accessible is it, all that sort of stuff is all there to help you plan your journey.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, as I said, whatever you spoke about journey. I think, whatever stage you're at, in whatever capacity you're living, working in within autism ADHD, there's something there that can, I think, hopefully point you in the best direction forward. Whether you're a parent and your child has just been diagnosed and you don't know what the next steps are, or whether you're not sure, you have, you suspect there might be a condition, but you're not sure there, or maybe the child is entering into primary or transitioning into secondary, or on the education side, you're supporting someone, teaching someone who has or hasn't got a diagnosis, and there's things that happen, you don't quite know why they happen. It might be, is there a sensory issue? I hear sensory is an issue. That person might think, that professional might think, but I don't know enough or a huge amount about it. Where can I go to get that information to help me on a day-to-day basis? And the show isn't really about the theory, although we do cover that. It's very much primarily about hands-on, practical help and support, which I think Sendcast is actually about as well. So I think it ties quite nicely back to you.
Also, one of the things that really surprises me is that people aren't often aware of the benefits that they're entitled to as well. So this year we've got the Department of Work and Pensions exhibiting at all 3 locations, and they should be able to steer people in the direction, sort of tell people what benefits they're entitled to. I mean, just with our own case with our son, I remember speaking to some of the parents, and Zane was probably about 12 or something by then. And, his friends had, moderate learning disabilities, some complex needs. They hadn't even heard of disability living allowance, and they weren't applying for the benefits they're entitled to. You know, often working and having a child with a disability is really difficult, and to be able to claim benefits and know which benefits you're entitled to can make a real difference to the quality of your life. So hopefully people can come and get that information, and also importantly professionals can come and ask those questions so that they can tell you know, parents in their school or people they may be supporting, you know, there is extra help out there.
There is a real mix of those who come every year and you recognise them, you see them, you meet them, and it's great to catch up. But there are those who this is their first time. Their child's been diagnosed, or the school has said, we think your child, and they're on the waiting list, and they're arriving often just with the stereotypes you see in the media about what autism is or what ADHD is, and they're literally just absolutely petrified of what their child's life is going to look like. And I think coming there and having conversations and hearing from other autistic individuals or individuals with ADHD, talking to those, and I've had so many conversations like that where the child is just going, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm worried. I've been told this is like, no, chill. Have conversations, learn, be informed. Don't just go with what's on that media in a negative way. And the show's a really good place for that.
I think it's a place where people can find their community.
Yeah.
Yeah, and describe how they feel and not be met by surprise. Or, you know, most people can relate to what someone else is saying within that show. They've either experienced it themselves or they've experienced it through their child or someone they might be supporting through work, that people won't be surprised.
And I'm going to wrap it up there. I think we've covered it all. I'm really looking forward to it. It's saying I do really love these shows. Been doing them. I think we missed the first one, didn't we?
I think so. I think you started
Almost
in
from
the
the
second.
beginning.
Yeah.
And it is a highlight of the year.
It's very nice of you, Dan.
I'm
It's
slightly
very
sad I
kind.
can't go to Geo's in Manchester, which is right by, but I won't be there, so that's not a huge worry. John will have to find his own restaurant or go to Nando's.
Don't worry, we'll adopt him. we'll take him out.
We'll put the link to the events in the show notes. You can find out more about the shows, seminars, sessions, all those sorts of things. And as always, you'll find the show notes whether you listen to the podcast or on the Zencast website. And if you haven't subscribed already, click on that subscribe button or follow us on social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. We're kind of everywhere because you have to be these days. And don't forget, you can always reach out to us as well. And I'm going to wrap it up there. I'm going to leave it there. So thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Zencast. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from us.
Goodbye.
Bye.